What's up? I'm Esoteric Essa, an astrologist, intuitive psychic, also numerologist, and the creator of the Modern Spiritual Latina Oracle. And I'm here today to report to you on the astrological insights of the upcoming Grammy Awards set to be held on January 31st of 2021. Some quick insights on the astrology behind the show. Well, first off, you guys, can we stop doing pop culture global events on Mercury retrogrades? Like, enough, yeah? Ya basta, enough. Okay, so Mercury retrograde in Aquarius happens beginning on January 30th of 2021. The award show, the Grammys, is set to be held on January 31st. So if you keep up with awards or music, you'll see that every year there's always snubs, missed opportunities, nominations artists wish they could have gotten. And I know this firsthand because I actually worked for the Grammys. I actually did work for the Grammys for quite some time in their PR and communications department. So it's a yearly thing where artists feel snubbed. But this year there's quite a few artists who were snubbed or didn't receive the nominations they felt they deserved. I'm not here to talk about if they deserve it or not. I'm here to talk about the astrological insights of these artists and how they correlate with the upcoming Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. So every artist who was snubbed, I looked at their charts and I found that they all had, most of them had, majority of them, significant Aquarius placements. So I want to get started with that. When we do a Mercury retrograde, when we have a Mercury retrograde, energy is slowed down. So expect with this upcoming Grammy Awards for there to be mishaps in communication, tech, travel, maybe artists not being able to show up for their performance, ballots being given at the wrong time, wrong artists read, or, because Aquarius is also about hope and healing, maybe some wins for people who are the underdogs, artists that we didn't expect them to win in their category, or extreme upsets, shocking news and revelation. Okay, with that being said, I want to start getting into the artists who were snubbed and their astral charts. So first up we have Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was snubbed for Album of the Year. Looking at Bad Bunny's chart, he has Mercury itself in his natal chart in the sign of Aquarius, and it's next to his moon. So the fact that Mercury is going to be transiting in Aquarius in the sign at the time of the award show means that this is activating his actual Mercury placement in his natal chart. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, it's time to go within and revisit and reflect, pause. So let's move on to the next person. Next up is The Weeknd. He has been the most vocal about his snubs, the most upset about not receiving nominations or the recognition he feels he's worthy of. And he actually in his chart has Mercury also in Aquarius next to his Venus, his North Node, and his Sun. He has a whole entire Aquarius stellium. But he also, just like Bad Bunny, has Aquarius, a Mercury in Aquarius that is going to be activated with this Mercury in Aquarius come January 30th. All right, stay with me. Next up, we have Selena Gomez, coincidentally The Weeknd's ex-lover. And she has actually Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn in astrology is the lord of karma. Karma can be good, it can be bad, okay? But with Mercury now transiting at that time in Aquarius, it's going to be sitting next to her Saturn, which means that Saturn is all about the payback and the paying dues. So in this case, it's opposite her ascendant sign. So this doesn't look good. It wasn't meant and written in the stars for her to get any recognition with this last album because Saturn dishes out karma. So she's just basically paying back karmic debt. Next up, the late great R.I.P. Mac Miller. We all love Mac Miller. May he be resting in spirit and resting in peace. So he actually has Saturn and his Sun all sitting in Aquarius on top of his ascendant sign. That's kind of a bad combination. And this also makes a lot of sense looking back at his life, why he quote unquote struggled or felt so challenged with his identity and who he was and being a misfit. So he has the Sun and Saturn sitting in Aquarius that would be activated by Mercury. This technically, on my end, was a big miss on the Grammys. He should have received a recognition because the Sun was there to kind of bring in some recognition, some power, some vitality, some hope, prosperity, but he didn't get it. So bad job, Grammys, okay? All right. Well, let's be clear. The Grammy voters. It's not the actual staff who vote or who decide this, you guys. Next up, we have Miley Cyrus. Okay, Miley has Saturn also in Aquarius, and it's sitting right next to her midheaven, which is her profession, her legacy, her fame. And Saturn, like we just discussed, is about karma. So no, she's not. With Mercury sitting there and transiting in Aquarius next to her Saturn, this makes sense that she would receive 0 nominations, although she entered for 3 categories. And just going back, Mac Miller, I know he passed, but his last project, his latest project, Circles, could have been up for a nomination, which is why a lot of people were upset by it. And then going to Selena Gomez, people thought she would get nominated for Song of the Year or Record of the Year, and she did not receive that. Now, the other interesting case is Kalani. So Kalani, I believe wanted to be, I believe she entered for R&B album of the year or R&B album, and she did not receive any nomination. Now, she didn't have any prominent Aquarius placements, although she did have Uranus in Aquarius, so that is, you know, Uranus is unpredictability, so combined by Mercury retrograde, this is a very unpredictable retrograde that's going to be happening for her in 2021. So a lot of, you know, hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss with recognition. But also her Gemini placement is in the 3rd house. So this tells me that this lunar eclipse was extremely unfavorable for her in this case. So next up, I'm going to be getting deeper into the insights of Kobe Bryant and Barack Obama and this lunar eclipse for those of you who have Gemini placements. I'll be back with that video this week, but drop it in the comments. Do you even watch the Grammys anymore? Do you feel like the award is still prominent? It's still something that is worthy of recognition and esteem? Let me know. And are you even invested in the winners or the losers? Do you feel like someone should have been nominated and received a snub? So thank you for tuning in. I'm Esoteric Essa. You can learn more about astrology at my Patreon, patreon.com/esotericessa, or check out my YouTube channel, Esoteric Essa. Thank you so much for tuning in. May you manifest wisely.